That's what's going to happen. So let's get started. Mute the fucking music. All right, so here we go. Here's the gameplay overview. We're going to watch this for Diablo 4. I'll say again, the aesthetics and graphics for the game look really good. I really like the aesthetics and the graphics for Diablo 4. My concern with the game is actually not even about the cash shop. I don't care if Diablo 4 is pay to win. I care if it's good. And that's what I'm worried about.
Diablo 4 is the next generation of action RPG, melding monster slaying and loot collecting with a fully realized open world.
This looks great. Material, I guess.
Faint apart. It's gory and unnerving. It's creepy.
Diablo 4 is all about player choice.
That looks cool. I really like that.
Diablo game and just expands them with all of the new features that people really love and appreciate in
That's
modern
cool.
games.
The little scythe. Obviously, that's the character selector.
You can create in Diablo 4.
This looks cool.
It's important to include robust character customization because then I can play the fantasy that I want to play.
I think so too. I'm glad they're adding this. I think that with Diablo Immortal, they did a really good job with that too. Credit where credit's due. The Diablo Immortal character customization was above par for any other Blizzard game prior. It's the best character customization they've had ever.
Allows you to switch around your playstyle as well.
Everything feels very powerful and fun.
One of the really cool things about having an open world is your journey that you take throughout Diablo 4 is your own. There's no linear path that you have to follow.
We've got almost 150 dungeons in the game.
There's all kinds of surprises as you're exploring.
That looks cool.
Strongholds are an enemy territory that you need to reclaim.
But you might have a space that begins as a hostile area, but after you've cleared it out,
the evil in this place has been cleansed.
It now becomes a friendly town.
That's cool.
Sometimes it's a new town.
I like that, yeah.
Sometimes it's a new dungeon. There's a whole bunch of rewards that you get. And you have a real impact on the world as a result.
No, you can't leave us here. They might come back any moment.
Local events are really cool little story segments that happen within the open world.
You'll just be running through the world and then a local event will pop up and you can choose to participate in it.
They have these, I mean, these are effectively like kind of world quests, or the same thing as like Lost Ark has this. A lot of games have these. I think that's good. Their fates, yeah, etc. I think that at this point, it's, yeah, public events, like, these aren't really, like, innovative, but I think that people said, like, not everything has to be innovative. Sometimes things are just good, and so, like, everybody uses them. That's kind of the way that I feel about this, where it's like, everybody uses this kind of feature. It's because it's good. I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's still good for the game. Yeah.
On these like giant world bosses.
These are events that take a lot of people and you really have to work together.
Being able to see all the players on your screen, collaborating, trying to take this big monster down, it's epic.
My expectations with the world bosses is that none of them will be hard. It's like I don't really think that they're going to effectively be target dummies. The same thing happens really with like Lost Ark. Like, I mean, the closest thing we got to that not being the case was like Moke, you know, where Moke was a big cock in the ass because he would just reset over and over and people were under geared. But other than that, it was just all kind of the same It's just a huge. They're target dummies basically in loot pinatas, and it's the same thing as WoW too. Like it's all the same.
So easy to create a community. It makes Diablo more of a social experience.
We've got fully enabled crossplay.
I completely agree with both of these things. I think fully enabled crossplay is really good. And in my opinion, I think now, if a game is available on PC and Xbox, it should be playable with people interchangeably between PC and Xbox. The only difference is whenever there's like a big... Oh, I thought I got banned again. We good? Yeah? Okay, cool. So anyway, I think that's cool, like having the shared world. I know that there are some Diablo players that don't want a shared world. I do. I think that it's way cooler. I think it's way cooler, way more interesting, way more dynamic. It makes you feel like you're part of a living, breathing game. It's one of the only things that I think like PoE does not do well is you don't get a chance to see as many other people in the world. So yeah, I really like that. I think crossplay is also, it should be a given.
If you have an Xbox and your buddy has a PC,
you can play together.
Or you could play couch co-op. Two people on a couch can sit there and have a great experience.
That's really important. I like that a lot. That's great.
We've created specific zones where players can engage in PvP.
If you go there, you can start swinging away at people. But you're also opening yourself up to being swung at.
That would make
If
sense.
you're like really, really good, the game actually marks you as like a champion on the map.
So it's like the bounty system in WoW.
You basically become a loot pinata, and everyone wants to chase you down.
See, this part right here is what really matters. Is that like those systems, like the loot pinata system, full loot PvP? No, they're not gonna do that. Forced PvP. I think they're probably gonna have. Like my opinion is that like you can probably look at a lot of the systems in like Legion to Shadowlands and get a good indicator of like what these community features are going to look like, because that's Blizzard's other effectively open world game. So that's going to be the game that they're mainly going to be talking about and comparing to. Do you see kind of what I'm saying? Yeah, it's opt-in zone, stuff like that. They confirmed it's opt-in. Okay, yeah. And so it's going to be like the those little zones in like Blackrock Hold and stuff like that, where you can go into this little arena or something like that. It's very small. Shared world introduces significantly greater imperative to monetize it abusively. Well, it does, and we'll talk about that a lot.
Mission is really the beginning of a whole different part of the journey.
Now you're set up for the end game, and that end game is rich with things to do that allow you to get more and more powerful.
Like what?
Whether it's new items or new dungeons or new Paragon boards, every single time you come back to play Diablo 4, there's going to be new stuff for you to experience.
And it's something that we're going to support for years to come.
I'm really excited for folks to get their hands on
Caleb?
Diablo 4.
Just to see millions of people really enjoying the different options.
Through the campaign,
local events,
couch co-op,
endgame,
PvP, it almost doesn't end.
And we are so close.
So, okay. So that's the trailer. This is cool. I like the I like the story of Diablo 4. I find it to be like moderately compelling. I think this is okay. So let's go ahead and look at the Necromancer got announced as well, and so we're gonna take a look at that, and we're gonna see what that is also. I think it's on here, so we're just gonna watch it over this way. And what story? Well, I like the idea of the Nephilim and that, like the I find it to be very interesting whenever people write stories that blends mythology and religion. I find it to be very interesting whenever that happens, because oftentimes there are like kind of commonalities in themselves, and then they become more pronounced throughout the story. So I like that. Okay, here we go. Let's watch the Necromancer trailer.
I speak now to those who heed a darker call. Those bold enough to cross the line of sin for deeper.
I might actually play a Necromancer instead of Barbarian.
Unquenchable yearning, born of blood and bone. To unlock the forbidden secrets and foulest black rituals, calling forth life from death. To truly embrace this power, you must take it.
I like that. That's cool.
You will be shunned, scorned, marked as a living sacrifice to this profane knowledge.
That was cool.
You will be a priest of Rathma, a necromancer. And you will not confront the darkness alone. We are the speakers of the dead, and the dead have no mercy.
So the trailer is pretty good. I mean, like, I wish that there was more actual gameplay, right, to see what the character does. But yeah, I think the trailer is interesting. It's cool. Yeah, definitely. That was absolutely cool. And it's, yeah, I mean, like Path of Exile, I played Necromancer for like maybe 4 or 5 leagues. So, or like I've played Element, fucking, what do you call it? Like Golemancer too, right? Which is basically Necromancer, in a way, right? In terms of the gameplay. And so, like, yeah, I like this gameplay a lot. I find it very interesting. So, yeah, I like it a lot. What am I mad about? So, basically, now that we've looked at the trailers and we've talked a little bit about that, I want to go through and I want to talk a little bit more about kind of how I feel about the game, and in general, kind of where I see it going. Now, overall, I think that the big problem with Diablo 3 and the main issue that it had was not that it released as an unfinished game. It's that it never really got a lot of meaningful updates post-launch. So what I mean by that is that if you played Diablo, like, let's say 5 months after the game came out, and then you played Diablo 5 months before Reaper of Souls came out, you were effectively playing the exact same game. There was no real meaningful content that was introduced that changed the experience of a player. There was no extra content to do. So that's probably the worst thing that Blizzard has had as a developer in general. I think that what they do is they release a game, and the game is in a relatively decent state, but the end game for these games lacks a substantial level of depth. So, like, for example, in, like, let's say Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, what really is the end game of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. You go through the campaign that's effectively a formality. Then you go through the different torment rifts, and then you do greater rifts. That's about it, right? Did I miss anything? Oh, you do bounties too. That's right. Yeah, you do bounties so you can get that ring. I remember there's a ring in Act 1 or something like that. Yeah. So that's basically it. That's the whole game. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just bad. It's bad. Like, straight up. Am I crazy? Like, am I absolutely crazy? Like, that's bad? That's the same exact content every single time that you do it, and there's nothing that's dynamic or new about it at all? And D4 will be different? Well, then why wasn't Immortal different? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean it'll be different? Why would you think that? Like, why? Like, there's literally, there's no, as I said, it's like, 2 points make a line and goes in a direction. We've got 5 points and they're all going the same way. How can you possibly imagine that? It's not an MMO. Neither was Diablo 3. And so anyway, here's really like the ultimate opinion that I have about the game, is that I do not like, it's a situation of fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, we don't get fooled again. It's not that I don't want to play Diablo 4. It's that I don't want to get excited about it because of what's happened with Diablo 3, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, Diablo Immortal, Shadowlands, and Overwatch. Every single game has had the same problem, where it gets released in a position where it's workable. The problems from the game are solved with way too much time required to do so. Then they finally get solved, and then nothing happens after that. There's no real growth of the game. And a good way to look at it is that, when did Reaper of Souls get released? It was 2016, am I right? 2016. So the game's been out for 6 years. Let's say 2014. Oh my god, I'm getting old. Holy shit. So here's a good question that I could ask a lot of people. How much content has been added into Reaper of Souls between 2014 and now? And how much content has been added into Path of Exile between 2014 and now? Whenever Blizzard is talking about how they're going to continuously develop the game, this is something that they have not done. And like, they cut their losses after Reaper of Souls. Yeah, just more seasons. Why are you mad? I'm talking about it. Like, that's why. Not all games are games as a service. They literally said, oh man, you can't have a game like Diablo without having it be treated like a service, because people will reach the end of it and then stop playing the game. Diablo has to have a functioning economy. You have to have a reset button that continuously develops itself. And also, the fact is that every other game on the market functions as a service, so if Diablo isn't doing that, they're the ones that aren't upholding the market standard, and people will play other games instead, like Path of Exile or Lost Ark, if they like click-to-move gameplay. Yeah, it's crazy. And so, like, yeah, I'm... They said, yeah, and they literally said for years to come. They said that. And so what my concern really about Diablo is that I think that I'm going to have a tremendous, great time playing Diablo 4 for about a week. And that's what happened with Shadowlands, and that's what happened with BFA. And I think that the problem that Blizzard has had with a lot of their products is that the end game for their products completely lacks depth outside of replayability. Like, there's no real replayability in doing a rift 35 times. So if you want to look at it from a comparison, so like let's say, well, let's just do this, right? And I want to compare like a Rift. We're going to compare a Rift versus a, let's see, like, and these are elements of variability that can happen. Let me go back over here, and I want to just talk about and express this problem, okay? Elements of variability that that exist inside rifts versus PoE maps. Okay? So right here we're gonna have Diablo. Let's just look at Diablo Immortal or Diablo Immortal. We'll combine Diablo Immortal and Diablo 3, right? Because it doesn't really matter. And then we have Path of Exile. Why is the Path of Exile square bigger? Because it needs to be. So, you have affixes. So we also have affixes too, right? Right, so there are affixes in Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal does have different end bosses. Which, to be fair, all of the end bosses of Diablo are just story bosses that do the same thing. Yeah, there's like maybe 5. There's the fat shaman, the skinny shaman, Leoric, the girl, the vampire girl, Baal, yep, Baal, or Baal, excuse me. The snake, yep, snake. Zoltan Cool, yep, you've got that, that's true. I think that's about it. So it's probably less than 10. Like, let's assume that I missed one, right? I think that's fair. We can assume that I missed one. So there's basically 8 different, let's say there's 10. Let's say there's 10 total bosses in all of the rifts in Diablo Immortal. So basically, if you look at end-game activities that your character can go up against a challenging foe, you are going up against the same 10 NPCs that you killed throughout the story. I mean, I don't know, man. There's 18 bosses in Diablo 3. Okay, sure, we'll go with 18. Yeah, sure. Well, 18 total bosses. And how many were there on launch? And how many were there 1 year ago? Yeah. So that's kind of 10, I think, on launch. And so that's what my problem with the game is. And compare it with Lost Ark. Lost Ark is an MMO. But yeah, I would compare it with Lost Ark as well. Then slapped monetization on it because the idea of the game worked. They just needed to milk it. The comparison would be better if you took D3 and PoE. And so 17 on launch, 18 as of now. Comparison's complete garbage. You're comparing an abandoned game to a live game? Why do you... So, I find it to be so sad that so many people can be so delusional. So, D3 is a live game. How can so many people be so delusional to think that they're actually going to continuously develop a game like this beyond launch? Like, how much have they done really with Mythic Plus? They've added 1 new affix, and that's basically it. Every season. I mean, Blizzard is notorious for effectively, like, releasing a game and then just saying, all right, well, we're done. That's it. D4 is inspired by Diablo 2 and not Diablo 3. I am... Let me ask you a question. The people that are working on Diablo Reaper of Souls right now, how much do you want to bet they're the same people that are working on Diablo 4? So, this is really the reality here, is that you're looking at the same people. That's all there is. It's the same people. And so, PoE, players ignoring mechanics. No, yes, you're exactly right. They actually aren't. Are there people in here that actually think that Diablo 4 is going to be any different than literally every single live game that Blizzard's released in the past 10 years? I want to take a look at something that somebody said today. Can somebody link me Adam's post today? Can somebody link me Adam's post if there's a mod that can do that for me? And he's one of the community guys for Diablo, and I want to talk a little bit about this. And Asmon, let me cope, please. No, nobody's coping today. I'm going to be. It's under Microsoft lead, so it may be different. No, it's not. The game is probably 60% made. Microsoft doesn't even own the company yet. I don't even think the merger has even been, the acquisition has even been fully approved by the government. Like, what? It's like, there's more copium here. I swear to God, this is like a fucking overdose. Let me go back over. I guess I'll have to find it myself. And let me go back and see it for myself, okay? And let's see here. Okay. Okay. I've got it, and let's see if I can respond to this. Okay. And I just want to make sure that we've got everything stated and written down here, because I don't want to, like, misquote anybody or anything like that, okay? So... okay. So we have two statements here. And let's go back over and double check this. Alrighty, okay, we're good to go. So, this is basically what Adam and also Rod Ferguson said. D4 is a full-price game built for PC, PlayStation, Xbox audiences. We're committed to delivering an incredible breadth of content after launch and for years to come, anchored around optional cosmetic items and full story-driven expansions. More details soon. Necroblog tomorrow. D4 is coming out as a full-price game built strictly for PC console audiences. Game is huge. There'll be tons of content after launch for all players. Paid content is built around optional cosmetic items and eventually full expansions. So what do these two statements tell me? These two statements tell me that this is a PR, that this is something that they're supposed to say in PR. This is a PR statement that's being repeated by multiple people on the team. They're the same words. So what does this mean? The game is huge. Paid content will be built around optional cosmetic items. So remember whenever Wyatt Chang said you wouldn't be able to buy gear in Diablo Immortal? And that was a deliberately disingenuous statement to make? Because everybody knows that you can buy other things besides the gear that makes you more powerful? It was a deliberately misleading statement to make people think something that's not true. It's literally that simple. And then on top of that, this is the same company that did this same type of language bullshit whenever they decided to pocket the money after the fucking Warcraft, the toys sold for the Blizzard, what was it called? They sold for the Blizzard fuck, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm very annoyed right now. They sold for the Blizzard AWC. So for anybody who doesn't know this, basically Blizzard put out this thing, I'll just paraphrase it very quickly, is that Blizzard put out these toys and you could buy them on the WoW store, and the money from the toys, 25% of the money made from the toys was going to go towards the funding for the AWC, which is the arena tournament, basically like prize pool, and also the MDI, which is the Mythic Plus prize pool in WoW. And Blizzard crafted the language around it so cleverly to imply that players would also like be adding to the prize pool. But what Blizzard did is they effectively allowed the players to subsidize the prize pool, and instead of putting in the $500,000 of base, they only put in a smaller amount because the players themselves had donated enough money to make it to where Blizzard wasn't able to pay for it. So I find this to be two different examples of Blizzard using deliberately disingenuous language in order to not only not make people think one thing, but to actively make them think something else. And here are some questions that I actually wrote down before I started my stream about this statement, okay? So, built around is not an exclusionary statement. While it implies that things are outside that perimeter won't exist, it doesn't state it plainly. So saying that something is built around cosmetic items does not mean that it will only be cosmetic items. Anchored around does not mean that it will only be cosmetic items. It just says that it's built around it. Now, it implies this, but it does not say it. If they were going to say it, why wouldn't they just say it's only cosmetic items? That's it. You just say it's only cosmetic items. They didn't say that. Do you think that a PR statement that's crafted and given to two separate employees to put out was not written with very specific intent? It's obvious why. Second thing, the second pet that was added to the Blizzard store was BOE, and you could buy it from the store and sell it. In BDO, my understanding is that you're not able to buy gold, but you can buy cosmetics and sell them for gold. Remember that? Did they say that these cosmetics are BOE? No. They did not say this. They did not say it. So think about that. You can. What do you think the odds are that some of these cosmetic items could be sellable? And if the cosmetic items are sellable, you can effectively buy gold. Is this fair? Is this a fair assumption to make? So it's the same as Lost Ark. Yes. Yes. And so here's what, and like, all right, so here, I'm going to make another MS Paint document, okay? I want to explain kind of in general how I feel about it, okay? So, so this is basically a pie chart of the things that I'm worried about in Diablo 4. I am mainly worried about the game being bad. I'm not mainly worried about the game being pay to win. I'm worried about it just flat out being bad. It's got nothing to do with pay to win. It won't be pay to win. How can you listen to what I'm saying after you've been hoodwinked twice? Don't make me pull your fucking logs out of my main channel and scroll up to 2020 where you were pogged out of your fucking mind for Shadowlands or for some other bullshit and then see this. They've already done it twice. What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Why am I streaming this? Because I didn't want to go live on my main channel. I had sleeping problems last fucking night. I've had sleeping problems a lot. I've been stressed out about shit. Too many fucking people have been trying to talk to me. I'm fucking tired of it. And I needed a day to just chill. That's why. But I had to fucking do this. So anyway, it's... Okay, all right, calm down. So, here's basically what my concern is and what my expectation is. My concern and my expectation is that Diablo 4 will have cosmetic items, but the cosmetic items will not be the full extent of the store. And not only will they not be the full extent of the store, but they will also not be BOE. So that means that players will be able to trade and move those cosmetic items between themselves. And if the solution to that is to remove trade from an ARPG, I don't think that's a good idea. I would rather have the, like, that's what they basically did with Reaper of Souls, is they said, we are so lazy, we are going to make gold mean nothing, and we don't care about that anymore. And you're not going to be able to trade gear because we don't want to manage our own game. We're going to actively make the game worse because we're lazy. You see what I'm saying? MMOs need trade. Economy and D3? Yes, economy and D3. D3 didn't have trading? Yes, it did. How can you say that? How can you say that? I bought food because it had trading. They removed it. They removed the real money auction house, but they didn't remove, yes, they removed all of it. I think that you should be able to trade items. In my opinion, if the solution to people RMTing and trading items in a way that you dislike, the solution to that is to remove trading from the game, I don't think that's a good game. I think that you're just being a lazy and bad developer. Path of Exile doesn't do that. Path of Exile has open trading and people RMT in Path of Exile. It's stupid, but it is what it is. And that's about it. Yeah, we should have trading. You should absolutely have trading. The reason why trading is so good, let me explain why trading is so good, is because let's say you are a barbarian and you get a fucking Talrasha piece, and it's like the first week of the league, and you can sell that piece of Talrasha gear because somebody's trying to get their 6-piece. But you can't fucking do that because it's bound to your character. And you can buy that and you can get a Bolcathos item, or you can get an Immortal King set or something like that. You can trade something, and let's say in Path of Exile, you can have your big grand goal. You want to get Bottled Faith, you want to get Mage Blood, you want to get Headhunter, you want to get something else like that. Oh my god. Am I offline again? Am I offline again? Give me a second. Let me just see for myself. No? No, F here. Give me 1 second. One second. Okay. Everything's fine? I was popping off too hard. I'm sorry. So yeah, anyway, this has been very frustrating for me to see. And the reason why, again, is because I see this kind of stuff happen, and... Sorry. I had talked about earlier, I'm having a little bit of acid reflux, so I'm having it again. Give me a second. So, yeah. Save, yeah. Is it Twitch? It's gotta be Twitch, right? Okay, saved. All right, good. It's Twitch. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, pretty much what I'm trying to get at here is that I don't really know exactly what to do about this. I don't really think that there is anything to do about it. But actually, you know what? Let me just stop. Let me stop. I don't even want to talk about that yet. Let me talk about like trading and why I think trading is important. I remember one of the main items that I wanted to get in Diablo, Diablo-based Diablo 3 was 2 items. Like, let's look at Echoing Fury and let's look at Witching Hour. Both of these items were just absolutely fucking insane. Echoing Fury, I remember I got one of those and I bought it for, I think it was like 1.2 or 1.1 billion gold. And I spent a long time farming for that. Like, I farmed maybe like 100 or 200k every single day. After like 2 weeks of playing the game, I just kept popping off and I kept spending so much time doing that, right? Shut up, chat. Yeah, mods, just if people are spamming Fs for no reason, just instantly just permaban. That's it. Yep. No annoying times. I sold one for 250 bucks. If you sold it for 250, you might have gotten ripped off. You should have sold it on D2JSP if it sold for cap. But anyway, so that's basically where I look at this, is that I view being able to buy and sell items as an opportunity for players to create goals for themselves and then work towards those goals incrementally. So, like, for example, there are a lot of people that, you know, they do Headhunter. The way they farm for Headhunter is they farm 1 doctor a day, or they farm 4 nurses a day. And after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, and maybe they get lucky and they get two in a day or something like that. And just as time goes on, they're able to do that. And so probably people without ad blocker, I'm not sure. I got Mageblood and Headhunter, 400 gambles. Oh, I gambled a Headhunter too. I Ancient Orbed a fucking Headhunter in Metamorphosis League. It was amazing. I have a video of it. So yeah. I think they removed trading to keep the grind going, specific items, and extend the playtime of players. I don't care why. It doesn't matter to me why. It matters that it's bad. And that's all it comes down to, is that it's actually bad. Show video. Funny fact, Twitter literally took the video down because I had a copyrighted song playing in the background. So I have to get it out of my computer. But anyway, so I go and I do this, and I work towards this item for a very long period of time. And every day I can log on, and I know that I'm working towards something. And what I'm worried about is if you take out trading, you are no longer working towards anything. You're just rolling the dice over and over and over. I find that to be less fun. I don't enjoy that. Like, I think that sucks. I think it's garbage. I think it's straight up fucking garbage. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. And with PoE even, also, there are a lot of ways that you can work towards farming a specific item even if you are in solo self-found. But I don't play solo self-found because I don't find that to be as fulfilling and enjoyable as an experience. Some people do, some people don't. I don't. So anyway, I think that trading is absolutely necessary. And if there's not going to be any item trading in Diablo 4 like there was in Diablo 3 as a base game, I think that you're just going to get people in this endless fucking treadmill of trying to refarm the same item with no real path in mind of success. There's no way that the person can succeed. Even if you have a piece of gear, you have a character that's worth 3 mirrors worth of gear in Path of Exile, you can still have a goal. Because you know that goal is to get the ring that's worth another mirror, or some other item that's worth let's say like 35 exalts or something like that. So you always have the next thing that you can work towards. But with Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, you never had that, because all you were doing was just refarming the same thing over and over and over. So like WoW, well, the difference with WoW is that like items don't drop. There's no variability with items dropping. So like, you can farm out the same, and also they got rid of that with WoW. In Season 4, you're literally going to get a vendor where you can buy some of the baseline best items in the game if you get enough things, and you also have the Crucible as well that allows you to craft tier gear. So that's actually not even true. So anyway, what I'm getting at here is that let's see here, and also this is another thing that's going to make Diablo 4 pay to win. And I wanted to talk about this and compare it to what's happened in the past. You can't buy WoW gold, and you can buy WoW gold and trade it for Diablo 4 gold. People did this back in D3, but because of the WoW token not being available, they were more afraid of Blizzard action. Now people openly trade retail gold for TBC gold. No one has ever been banned for this. Streamers even do it openly. So even if they don't do any of this stuff, people will still be able to buy gold in WoW tokens and then trade it for Diablo 4 gold. Straight up. Like, that's what's going to happen. And trading gold retail classics should not be punishable, to be honest. That's fine if you think that, but you can't say that and then also say that it doesn't diminish the integrity of the game. Shameless shit, man. Yeah, another reason for not trading. So, and that's what I'm saying, right? Is so, like, the solution to this is to make the game worse. I don't agree with that. I think the game should be moderated. And it's like, would I rather play a moderated game, or would I rather play an unmoderated game that has problems, or would I rather play a game that basically is, they've removed all of the ways that somebody can get an advantage, right? Like you gave remove trading. Well, it's very simple. You can answer that question easily. I quit during Reaper of Souls. Yeah, I quit during that because there's no future in the game. There's no end game. There's no goal in the game except for just doing bigger and bigger numbers. And I think that's effectively what the problem with Diablo is that the entire experience of playing Diablo, and this is my understanding with Diablo Immortal as well, is that everything that I've seen, the main way that you make progress is you just do the same content, but the boss does more damage and has higher health. That's it. There's not like new mechanics. There's nothing. Like, you just do the same boss and he has more health. I mean, I'm sorry, like Lost Ark. That's not true. That's like PoE. How can so many people be so stupid? How can so many people be so dumb? It's just so disappointing. It's so disappointing because it's like WoW, you mean? Well, that's been a big problem that WoW has had for many years. I think so. There's just too many people. I know. And what I'm trying to get at is, like, if you look at, let's do this. Let's go ahead. We'll get rid of this. And where is, run notepad? So basically all of these things, I want to just kind of make a list of different things that the player has to do in Path of Exile, like different challenges that scale up in difficulty that exist, right? So you have Uber Elder, Cirrus, Cortex, Shaper, Maven, Delve. Who's the new guy? Oh, yeah, that's all is in fucking Delve, but all scales as well. Simulacrum. Let's see here. Eater of Worlds. At Ziri. Let's see. Searing Exarch. Guardians. Let's see, like, and then you also have Elder Guardians. Let's see, Legion Commanders. Sorry, not Conquerors. Yeah, Conquerors. Four-way Legion. Yep, 4 or 5-way Legion. Betrayal. What's her name? Your soul burns for me. Katarina. I actually got the flask from her with a perfect roll on it. Basically, I sold it for like 30x or something. Alva Temple. No, I don't think the Feared. Okay, so Breach Stones. Yeah, Pure Sheila. Omnitech is trash. I think it is too. Blight. Blight is Scales. Uber Lab, yeah. Okay, so Uber Blights. I haven't done those yet, so I'm not sure. So, alright, Harvest Boss. Yeah, Harvest Boss. Orachi or whatever. Oshabi. Something like that. Yeah, so, yeah, alright. Well, let's just stop right here. Okay? So these are all challenges that exist, except for Ol. Olgul doesn't really count for that because you can fight him at different levels. And at Ziri, kinda. You have to reach a certain power level to fight... Oh, and then Elder itself. You have to reach a certain power level to fight Uber Elder. You have to reach a certain power level to fight Elder. You have to reach a certain power level to fight Cirrus. And every single one... Oh, yeah, Shaper. Shaper is level 85. Or is 84 or 85. There's not a level 61 version of Shaper. There's not a level 89 version of Shaper. Unless you want to include the Feared or something like that, right? Which are like these combo challenges, like Uber meta challenges. Basically, these challenges exist in the game as baseline measurements for progression. And Diablo doesn't have that. It didn't have that in Diablo 3. It didn't have that in Reaper of Souls. It doesn't really seem to have that in Diablo Immortal as far as I can see. And why would I think that they're going to have it in Diablo 4? That's the main problem that Blizzard has. Is that they're too afraid to make content that isn't something that every single player in the game that has a pulse, and even that, let's be honest, that's debatable, can complete. I'm absolutely furious about this. I'm furious about this because I love Diablo, and this is what's happened. And also, let's look at Lost Ark, okay? And these are also all challenges that effectively exist on a baseline. So, baselines. Argos. Valton. Velganos. Just all other Guardians. Right? Let's just say, like, we'll just do Guardians in general, right? Vicus. Let's see now. And, right now, yeah, Alaric. Level 4 Guardians, yeah. Abyss Dungeons. No, because Abyss Dungeons are just story mode dungeons tuned up. I wouldn't really consider that. Like, Alaric is different than that. Let's see. Kukul Satan. Belshazzar. So all of these, and Tower. Tower is another one, even though it's very easy. And also, like, yeah, Akan coming soon. All of these challenges are challenges in Lost Ark that exist at one baseline. You have to meet a baseline in order to overcome this challenge. And you use overcoming Valton to overcome Vicus. You use overcoming Vicus to overcome Kukul Satan. And then Belshazzar. You understand how this is a progression system? Is that these games have progression systems. Diablo has a repetition system. That's what they do. Overcome by progress and real money. Yes. And that's probably the biggest and worst thing about Lost Ark, is that you can spend money and gain an advantage. I'm not going to defend that because it's bad. Why would anybody say that? Why would anybody think that's a good thing? Of course that's not good. Diablo bosses are also so easy. Yes, and also, like, how many mechanics do the Diablo bosses have? Well, let's go ahead and let's look. Diablo 3 Greater Rift 150. Let's see here. Solo clear. Let's go ahead and just watch this. This is from 2 years ago. I'm going to mute the audio here. So let's see how many mechanics this boss has. As you can see here, well, what's he got? He's got, trying to see if he can move a little bit farther away. He's just sitting there, like, AoEing them down over and over and over. That's basically about it until, like, I guess some of these mobs will die. And then I'm assuming he probably still uses the, that one item that you can give your follower where it makes a chain between, like, you and the follower, and you can, like, use that to do more damage to a boss. And so anyway, you go through and you do this, and you're just running around aggroing these mobs. And let's go ahead. I want to go through and show you guys the actual boss itself, okay? Okay, here we go. So here's what the boss does. It does a breath, and it shoots bombs, and it shoots, I think, 3 fireballs, right? And it puts that fire thing on the ground. It did 1 melee and it almost one-shot him. That's it. That's the extent of a boss. Isn't that crazy? The angels killed it. Yeah. Let's see if I can figure out something else here. World first. Okay, this is the world first. Greater Rift. Whatever 150, I guess. So let's just go ahead and move forward a bit. Okay, here we go. Here's the boss. This boss, I think, does a whirlwind. It's been a long time. Yeah, that's a fire thing. That's it. That's the entire... Those are all of the mechanics of the bosses. It's actually quite hard. What do you think's harder, that or Vulcan? What do you think is better? That or Vulcan? Like, and also, like, compare this to Cirrus. So, like, I'll go ahead and we'll just look at, let's see, Cirrus, world first, kill, PoE. What's this here? And so, oh, this is Uber Cirrus, haven't done this. Okay. World first, Cirrus, kill, where is it? So, let's go ahead, we're just gonna look at this fight, right? Now, obviously, like, more damage makes this easier. So basically, he does this little thing. He does that on the ground. And so you have to run in and fight him. Obviously, whenever you're running in, you have to avoid these purple things. These things explode right here. And then he comes down, and he'll teleport away from you. And he'll cast an attack. If he says the words die, he'll cast 3 beams like that apply different types of status ailments like corrupted blood and shock on you at different intervals. And basically he does those die beams. This is the first phase. He doesn't really do much else in the first phase. And then you have to run away, and kind of, you used to have to bait these things away, but that was too hard for players, so GGG nerfed it. And so, which, to be fair, was probably a good thing, because it made it really hard to run back. It was very frustrating. And so there we go. So he comes back down here. So what killed him here? Let's look. So right here, this is probably one of the worst things at Cirrus. Cirrus is actually, in my opinion, a badly designed fight. But as you can see here, these little meteors were going to spawn right here. It was right underneath them, and it killed them. Yeah, I hate that. I think it's fucking trash. But the reason why I don't like it is because it's mechanics obfuscate other mechanics. I don't like that. So we'll just move forward here. And so obviously it goes back up in the air and comes back down again. And obviously he's doing the die beams. You have to avoid those as well. And then he's teleporting away. He says die, and so you can know that he's doing it. You can know you need to move away. He starts already doing this mechanic where you have to move out of it. Now, this gets a lot harder in the last phase, but in the very beginning of the fight, it shows you how it works early on to teach you how to do the mechanic in itself. And so as soon as that smashes, and then also he has this separate mechanic where you get put in this little corridor and you have to run forward with these 2 balls alternating between being on the left and the right side, and he's hitting those until you reach him. he teleports again. And then also, like, his chair is doing other attacks as well. And so then you just have to be constantly moving away. And there we go. He's going to go ahead and do it again. And now we're going to go to, I think this is the, nothing else really too special in this phase. Pretty much the same thing again. And this is the last phase where he says, on the edge of death, my heart races, I'm alive. This is the last part of the fight, right? And so they're avoiding these. Always avoiding. So then there you go. You have to go through 3 different levels of this. Obviously, while you're running out of this, you have to make sure that you don't accidentally stand in one of these or run through one of these. It does a tremendous amount of damage, degen damage. Then right here, he goes into a 4-point thing where he channels an explosion here. The channeling of the explosion also does damage. Meanwhile, the actual real version of Sirius inside of this has a little bit of a white reflection on him while all 4 of them spawn. It allows you to know which one is it, and you can also attack him at the same time. Then so as soon as this happens, it rotates around the room that segments the room off. And then also running through this will make you take more damage from Sirius's attacks as well as slow you. Which makes it easier for him to hit you with his die beams. And then so right here, you have to be moving while he says you will long for non-existence. And as soon as he says non-existence, that's whenever he casts his spell. So you can not only time this with his animation, but also with his voice line. And then he shoots this. And then the worst part right here is that sometimes he'll teleport away and then cast a die beam on you, and it'll be hard for you to detect where he is. Luckily, it didn't happen right off the bat, and this guy was okay because it didn't happen off screen. And so then he comes right back over there, fights him again. He does that mechanic again, and now this is pretty much free damage time. And then you just repeat the process. So This fight was developed in the time that Reaper of Souls existed. Reaper of Souls existed this entire thing, during this entire thing, and they have created 0 boss fights that are like this. What about map bosses? Map bosses are generally boring. Map bosses are generally boring, and the reason why they become less boring is because of affixes. Sometimes you have multiple bosses. Sometimes, like with the, the Guardians. Like, the difference is that maps are not the only content in Path of Exile. So if you compare just maps to, like Path of Exile or something like, or Diablo, like, yeah, sure, you've got a little bit of a better comparison, but Path of Exile has, like, this capstone content. It has things that you can work towards that exist as benchmarks and progression meters that you can say, I have overcome this. I have beat the Cortex. I have killed the Shaper. I killed Maven. I did Simulacrum 30 waves. I did the Eater of Worlds, Searing Exarch, Katarina, which is really fucking annoying. Do you see kind of what I'm showing? And show Maven. I don't know how all the mechanics on Maven work, to be honest. I don't know how it works. So, like, I know, like, almost all of them, but not every single one of them. I know everything about Cirrus. Yeah, show Maven. I guess I'll show it. Yeah, sure. Lighty kill. Yeah, we'll look at this just for another comparison, okay? Where is it? Where's whenever he killed it? Ah, fuck. I don't see it anywhere. World record, Maven kill. Ah, shit. I'm not seeing it anywhere here. Quinn. All right, we'll watch the first Shaper and Maven boss attempt. First Maven kill, soul self. Let's just do the Ziz one. Yeah, let's just do that one because it'll show the fight. So obviously, like, she's, you're fighting her. She shoots these things. You have to avoid all of these different effects. And this is like a special boss fight that you have to unlock after doing like 50 other things. So it's like by the time that you get here, you've worked your fucking ass off. Like, you've worked your fucking ass off. You've farmed for this for a long time. It's very hard to get here. Obviously, like, you can probably farm, like, what? Three of these a day, maybe? I don't know. Like, that's probably what I would say. I could usually farm, like, 2 or 3 Siriuses a day, and I would kind of assume it's about the same thing. So then the brain comes down. You get to the outer edge. It's the same as, like, Lich King, right? Pretty simple. And you can buy the map, though, yeah. And then you have to fight this guy. Obviously, this part doesn't really seem like it's that hard. You just rotate around. And then you see, obviously, bring in one of the the map bosses. That's the fucking, the end of the boss, and I think Act 6 or something like that. The Brine King. And then there you go. You get the brain to go away. And let's just skip forward a little bit here. And then right here, she does a special little thing where you have to stand inside of each one of these and be in there in position because it's like a memory game. So it teaches you exactly how to do it. It's like Simon Says. It's like left, right, left, right, left, right. And then you have to do left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, whatever it is, right? Or just log out. Yeah, I've heard some people do that. And then other people literally just gear for fucking it up so much that they just have enough regen to where it doesn't kill them. I've seen that too. You can't log out anymore? Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't been current on it, so I'm not 100%. So yeah, again, stage gets larger. There's a very clear indicator that the stage is going to explode. You move back in, and then this mechanic again happens. And you're fighting the brain again. And then you have another boss right there. Who's that? Is that the boss from, it's not Pinnacle. It's the one, it's like the Greek area, right? It's Argus? Yeah, it's Argus, but it's Chateau. Yeah, it's the Chateau boss, which is also Argus. Yeah, they're all the same. So they've reused it 3 times. And so anyway, you've got this one here, and as you can see, you stand in these different locations. So he got lucky here because all he has to do is run in a circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. And so that's done. And so this is, again, a fight. And what my point is, like, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. What my point is with this is that all of these fights have been developed during the live existence of Reaper of Souls. These have all been fights that have been made and designed during Reaper of Souls' lifespan. And I think that's what really frustrates me the most about it. You also get fat loots? Yeah, you do. Apart from killing her, you're getting nothing, right? So RNG, items are RNG in PoE? Yeah, they are, but, like, there are special items that, like, different bosses drop. So, like, for example, Cirrus can drop Awakened Gems, and originally those were the only place you get Awakened Gems. He could also drop a special helmet, a gem. He also could drop a sword called the Savior. Shaper, for example, drops a pair of boots that are unique. He drops Starforge, which is a unique. And so there's a number of things, too. Gloves. Yes, the gloves. Watcher's Eye is tremendously valuable. So the point that I'm making here is that I've gone so far off of Diablo, but hopefully you guys can see where I'm going with this, right? Is that all of these systems that have been created and developed and maintained throughout Path of Exile's life cycle are what Diablo should have been doing. But what were they doing instead? Nothing. They were doing absolutely fucking nothing. They were sitting around making the same content, releasing it over and over and over, retuning the same set bonuses, making the same Infernal Maiden that I killed 6 years ago that has the same fucking mechanics. And yes, and also, here's one of the worst things about it. Let's talk about Diablo Immortal. So, I don't want to actually play this game. Like, I genuinely meant that I quit this game. I don't want to play this game anymore because I don't find it fun. Yeah, I don't find it to be a fun game, straight up. So, but I do want to log on and just show a few things. I'm not going to run anything. I'm just going to show you a few things on the screen. So let's look at what all this is. How much you spend so far? I have no idea. And ask for a refund? Why? I mean, I don't want to play it anymore. It's whatever. So this is the content as well. So you just run a rift. And that's it. You just run an Elder Rift. What is the difference between level 23 and level 123? What's the difference to the damage? So that there's no mechanical difference. The boss doesn't gain extra abilities. You're just doing the exact same thing. There's a couple of zeros at the end of the number. So, then we've got over here, and there are also, like, a number of instances of, like, in my opinion, bad design that exists in this game that is, like, it's hard to understand. Like, fortitude and vitality, I find that to be annoying. I don't like that. Potency and resistance and armor penetration. Why do we need all of these stats? What are all these stats doing? Like, it's very complex, and I think that it's complex in a way that's not really fulfilling. Yeah, it's obfuscation. Also, like, here's another really big indicator that like really annoys me. The auction houses aren't linked. So, like, I can only buy things on the auction house that are on my auction house. So I can't go through and buy, like, some other random item or something like that. Yeah, they're server-based. So why not link the auction houses? Yeah. Like back in vanilla. Yeah, it's a 5-star. I know, I've got to buy that. How much would this be? 50,000, so each 100,000 is 200,000, so it's 1,200, $1,300.
Thank you.
That's how much that one would be. And so, do you want GRs in Diablo 4? I don't mind Diablo 4 having greater rifts. I mind greater rifts being the only content that exists in Diablo 4. Because that's the only content that's existed in Diablo 3, and Blizzard has had 6 years to fix it, and they haven't. I don't care about greater rifts being in the game. I care that they're the only thing in the game. That's it. So that's what my concern is that I look at, I play, like, I know I said I wasn't going to do this. Let me do one rift, and I want to just take you through and show you what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to get rid of these. I don't want to use any of these. I don't want to spend any more fucking money on this game. I'm going to go through one rift. I'm going to show you, okay? So, basically, let's talk about what can happen in a rift. What can happen in a rift? So, there are no special real bonus events. Not really. You're just running through here and killing random mobs. With 5 buttons. Okay.
Is that all you've got?
That's it. You just run through and you just kill 5 mobs. And also, like, 9 times out of 10, you're not killing any of the elite mobs. The elite density is extremely low. So you're not even fighting mobs that have any sort of interesting mechanics besides an auto attack and maybe a secondary skill. Oh, we've got 2 packs of elite here. This is actually good. This is exciting. So they have one ability here, and all you have to do is walk away from it. That's about it. And so I got these. And there we go. There's one group of them dead. Okay. So we're gonna go through here. Yeah, that's about it. Those guys are dead. Watch a 5-star drop. I didn't put any crests into this. There's no reason to. And so again, like, you're just running through here, and almost all of these tile sets are literally carbon copied from Diablo 3. So they've developed this game for 4 years, and the best thing that they could come out of the end game is a literal carbon copy paste of the Diablo 3 Rift and fucking Act tile sets. 4 years. Look at his name. Khan. How accurate.
Guides my hand.
Okay. PoE archive, more than 4 months. Yeah, and so run a map in PoE. I don't have it updated, or I would. So this is the boss. Let's look at what the boss does. Oh, he's actually gonna die. Okay, never mind. I would say let's run another one, but I actually just don't want to. Inventory's full. Who cares? We're just gonna let it rot. So anyway, he doesn't do anything. The bosses do nothing, and that's it. And so, a very difficult boss. Yeah, exactly. And such a challenge. Nice blue loot. Yeah. I just got to Hell 2 and I find the dungeon runs fun. I don't really think so. And Nightmare Dungeons in D4, which are apparently similar to Rifts. I think the problem that the game has is that... I don't want to look at that screen anymore. The problem the game has is that it really brings nothing new to the table. There's nothing new. There are no new ideas. And before you go and say, oh, it's on mobile, being on mobile doesn't mean that it has to be bad. It doesn't mean that they had to literally copy-paste the Diablo 3 Rifts and put them in Diablo Immortal. It does not mean that. It's an excuse. Yeah, it's a decent phone game, and if people want to play it, that's nice. So, I've talked about this for so long. Let me get back to Diablo 4, okay? And just kind of get down to the brass tacks, okay? I think that people's excitement for Diablo 4 is misplaced. I think that Diablo 3 was released as an unfinished game that was buggy and broken, and it remained that way for the majority of its hype period. It was then made worse in Reaper of Souls because Blizzard decided to throw in the towel and not even try to moderate any sort of RMT or trading, and decided to disable it entirely. And throughout the entire life cycle of Reaper of Souls, Blizzard has made almost no effort whatsoever to innovate the game in any sort of a meaningful way to make people feel like they're making progress at all. And this game came out in 2014. We are still looking at bosses here from 2020, 2021 that are still the capstone of content in the game. They still have the same amount of mechanics. They still look the same. They still act the same. Meanwhile, Path of Exile has released content patch after content patch of new mechanics, new stuff, new dungeons, new bosses, new benchmarks to overcome. While Blizzard has let Diablo 3 completely stagnate. And I think that you can make an argument that, oh yeah, well, this one's going to be different. Well, let's look at the new this one. Let's look at Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal is literally... The bosses, like I did, again, this is the first boss, Lassal the Flamebringer, is just garbage. He desyncs all over the map. The hitboxes are not the hitboxes for the spells. They're terrible. But fucking terrible. Like, so... Yeah, it doesn't trust. Yeah, it's just awful, man. It's a terrible game. Yeah, it's a bad game. And so it's like, I don't know why people are so hyped up about Diablo 4. I think Diablo 4 is going to have to win me over. That's the way that I feel. I do not feel like Diablo 4 is... I am not going to go into it expecting for it to be good. I am going into it. I will play it. I signed up for the beta. Of course I'm going to play it. I'm a huge fan. But I am expecting to be disappointed. That's what it comes down to. I am expecting to be disappointed. It sucks. Diablo 4's open world, that point won me over alone. Isn't Diablo Immortal open world? What do you think open world means? What does open world mean to you? Seeing others in game, you see other people in Diablo Immortal all the time. No loading screen? You don't think there's going to be any loading screens? Come on. Like, and also, like, like, the fact that there's no loading screens, is that really going to make me want to play the game? Well, what if I wanted to teleport from one side of the world to the other? I would have a loading screen anyway. Like, I mean, yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's an empty word. Anyway, so I don't know, man. It's just, I had to make this video and talk today about this because, like, I just see so many people getting so excited about this and, like, so hyped up about this and, like, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. Wow, oh my god, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be amazing, right? Like, if you think that this game is gonna be good, you are actively dismissing every single release that they have made in the last 5 years. Blizzard has been absolutely horrible at maintaining and developing any of their products post-launch. That's the truth. I didn't say 10 years because I thought the release of Overwatch was good, and I thought that Legion generally improved throughout its life cycle. That's the only reason I didn't say 10 years. So, that's where I'm at. Diablo 3 Remaster in shambles. I guess I'm just not a fan of Diablo 2. You could say that, yeah. Why are you upset people are excited about a new game? Because I feel like it's a, I feel like people are being tricked. I hate to see people get tricked. Yeah, and that's why. I think they're getting tricked, they're getting hoodwinked. And I think that what really triggered me was this post here about them saying that they're going to bring in an incredible breadth of content after launch for years to come. Like, it just really annoyed me whenever I read that. Because I was there. I've been here. I've seen the whole thing happen. And this didn't happen. That's pretty much how I feel. Give me a minute. I'm complaining to Izzy about Diablo 4. It's not going to have transactions, but no, wrong word. But I think there lying because that's what they did with the phone game. People are saying I'm wrong using, and that makes me even more mad. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll answer some questions, and then I just want to turn off the cam and relax. I might make the Diablo Immortal video a little bit later. So no Diablo Immortals, I mean there's no stream tomorrow. I usually don't stream on Mondays. I don't really plan on it. I might, I don't know. It depends on how I feel whenever I wake up. Do you feel like you'd have more fun, more difficulty if you didn't buy the majority of items beforehand? I agree, Diablo's very linear and boring. Curious what you say as a, curious what you think from a free-to-play player. Well, I couldn't buy anything in Reaper of Souls. What would I buy in Reaper of Souls? Like what like that's not. He means Diablo Immortal? Why would I have more fun if it took longer? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I'll read a few more comments and I want to move on. What's this here? Do you think the word anchored in a post allows some leeway to add pay-to-win mechanics anyways? Yes, I think that it does. I think anchored is specifically anchored and focused around. See, they use the word anchored and also built around. These are words that are not exclusionary. And they're not exclusionary because it opens Blizzard up to the opportunity later on to adding this content in the future and then making it pay to win. And I gave 2 examples of Blizzard using language like this to intentionally mislead people. I used it whenever Wyatt Cheng said you couldn't buy gear in Diablo Immortal as to imply that you couldn't pay to win. And I used it whenever Blizzard stole everybody's fucking money with the esports thing and the toys in World of Warcraft. I think both of those things are indications of Blizzard intentionally using misleading language to make players think something separate. And I think that this is clearly a PR statement, which is why 2 employees said basically the exact same thing. Yeah, and also, by the way, this guy said it first. This guy said it second. This guy's the general manager of the Diablo franchise. Okay? Like, this is sales VP. I'm not really sure exactly, but I'm pretty sure he pretty much outranks Adam by like 3 or 4 levels. So it's not like he's taking what Adam said and then using it. This is probably, yeah, he's Adam Sr. by multiple levels. So it's not like he took what Adam said and used it again. This is clearly language that was used by the Blizzard PR team for employees to use publicly. And do you remember how many times with Diablo Immortal they said authentic Diablo experience? The reason why they said that over and over is because those are bullet points that were hammered in by PR. I don't know, man. You still be skeptical about the promise to continue supporting the game? Yeah, I think that the launch of Diablo 4 will be okay and the game will be fun for maybe like a few days. Or maybe a few weeks, realistically. You don't know? No. Of course not. But, I mean, isn't past behavior a good indicator of future behavior? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this one, yeah. Of course I don't know. How could I possibly know? She says they might have microtransactions, but that would be a mistake for sure. Oh man, I don't know. Like, I gotta stop talking loud. It's fucking up my voice. My throat's messed up. But yeah. Anyway, did you watch Josh Strife Hayes video yesterday? No, I didn't. I'll watch it soon. Texas weather's got 2 degrees hotter. I know, it's just so hot right now, man. It's so hot. How are people getting confused by no content? Yeah, I know. Copium Andes. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. How's the hype from D4 any different than the mindless hype about the next WoW expansion? I think that the reason why people are happy about the new WoW expansion is that Blizzard, and also, like, I think that a lot of that excitement has faded a little bit whenever people saw that the talent trees had, like, core items in them, that it's like everybody had to get, like, interrupts and stuff. But I think that it's because they're hearing, like, basically, like, Diablo 4 is an unknown entity, whereas WoW is not. So they're explicitly fixing specific problems that WoW has, versus with Diablo 4, you're looking at going to an entirely new game. Who cares? People buy it. No matter how bad, because it's name brand. I would monetize it if I want a good game. Look up new IP. Yeah, I know. Your paid shills in your chat going hard on PR today. I really, really, really want Diablo 4 to be good. I really do. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to pretend like it will be. I do. I really, really hope. Diablo 4 sucks. Izzy, you realize I was reading them out, your text messages, right? I told them that I was complaining to you about my about this situation. I literally got out of bed to complain about this. I was so fucking mad. Not gonna lie, if D4 has pay to win in it, I won't buy it. How much do you think the odds are that if Diablo 4 has any sort of trading in it? So I think it's like a for sure thing it's going to have a level of pay to win in it. Even if it's going to be pay to win by abstraction. Like trading WoW gold for Diablo gold or something like that. I'm so mad. Oh, I'm so mad. And the thing is, like, with Diablo Immortal, like, everybody knew it was going to be garbage. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew it was going to be a fucking meme. Like, let's just spend as much money as we can in the game. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, I don't know. Like, with Diablo Immortal, I just didn't really care. But, like, with Diablo 4, I do care more. And it's just, I'm just malding. Nerd. I'm not a nerd. But this is a big deal. This is a big deal. No shot. What's this here? The D4 doesn't have battle passes and boon subscription at minimum. They know that it's culturally accepted and it fits into their seasons already. Oh my god. You spending money on it too? I spend money on it for content, man. Like, the moment that content's over, I'm done. Like, I'm done the moment the content is over.